Hey everyone, today this month we're talking about the chiropractic adjustment. So the adjustment or joint cracking is what we do primarily as chiropractors. In this office, a lot of people see we do lots of rehab and soft tissue work, but our main focus is the chiropractic adjustment. So what is it, right? The adjustment is when we take a joint or a section of the spine, find that it's not moving very well, and we add motion to it. Most of that is through an impulse, which is the quick thrust that we do that creates the pop. So the biggest question I get in the office is, what's the popping? Why do my joints do that? The popping is just gas in the joint. What we're doing is moving a joint quickly, and when we do that, the bubbles in the synovial fluid actually pop, and that's where we hear that. Another theory that creates that is what we call the joint gapping. It's when a suction occurs inside the joint, and that creates that noise as well. So when we look at this, we found through functional MRIs that the joint actually, it doesn't crack. There is no bone on bone crunching. It is a quick motion that separates what we would call sticky joints. And all that is a joint restriction or irritation in the capsule that makes your body not want to move it. And what happens is it makes the tissue around it spasm up and creates stiffness, which doesn't allow us to move correctly. So when you have that, like, oh, I'm stuck feeling, in your back or shoulder or neck, that's because the joint is locking up and creating irritation, and it's not moving correctly, and that's a signal that your body wants that to happen. Another thing we can talk about with this is what is it not? The adjustment is not putting bone back into place. The bone is not here and here, and we're putting them back together. We are creating a motion in the segment which allows it to move faster. So another thing that people ask is, well, you didn't get a pop here. Why is that? The popping doesn't have to occur in order for this to heal correctly. So getting motion in the spine is all we're really achieving with that. The popping is just extra. We like it, it feels good, but it's not necessary for it to be an effective treatment. So a common phrase we hear a lot in the office is slip rib, bone out of place, my rib's out. All of these, we have a picture of what it looks like in our head. It's not actually something that's occurring. So when we have a rib out, what we have is an irritation of the tissue around the rib head where it attaches to the spine, and irritation on the ligaments. So when we do an adjustment, we create more motion, it frees up the segment, and allows us to feel better and move better. The model of chiropractic care that we're trying to get away from in modern chiropractic is the static model. So when we do a static model, what we're saying is that the bone is out of place, or the hips aren't aligned, or we're just out of alignment. We know that's not true. The dynamic model of chiropractic is that the spine is one system and it moves continuously throughout. So there is no joint that gets out of place. There's no rib that gets out of place. So when we are doing our assessment, we're looking for generalized motion. We're looking for how everything connects and moves together. And the static model just doesn't account for dynamic, active, athletic people. So when we do an adjustment, we're not feeling for that bone out of place. And in order to do that, we know that our MRIs and functional systems show us that the joint does not get stuck. The joint does not get out of place. The joint capsule itself will tighten and get stiff, and that's when we get that out of place feeling that we know what we're talking about. So when we do an adjustment, we are actually moving a dynamic model, a functional model of a spine, not just pushing one joint into another joint.